D Ford. I mean, I know
That's
he
the
was
big
trying
one.
to get back this week.
Yeah, that's the big one. That's the one that concerns me the most in this game, just because you got to keep Aaron in the pocket to some extent and make him feel uncomfortable. It's still Aaron Rodgers. It's just I think he's the best quarterback in football. I don't think it's arguable. But
Our
it's
heart just fluttered. I'm just letting you know, Jay and I's heart just fluttered
listen. You know
because
what? There's guys like I get it. There's Patrick Mahomes. There's Kyler Murray. There's Russell Wilson. But Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. There's something about when he flicks his wrist and that ball just gets down the field. You're like, oh shit, here it goes. Um, and that's me. As
I
a fan
I
of
hear it from
football.
my best friend Julius. That same reaction you just did. The oh shit, like that, just
Yeah.
word for word, nothing else. That
And if you give him an extra second, he's gonna pick you apart. And that's where D4 would be ideal.
yeah.
In this matchup. So yeah, that's the biggest injury for me going into this game. The Niners have to generate enough pressure just to keep him uncomfortable just enough, and stop the run. Those are the things there for me. But yeah, D Ford is the biggest injury in this game to me personally.
Now, how's your rookie kicker doing? I know he missed the kick in Seattle, but after that in the Cardinals game, I saw him look pretty good.
Yeah, the kicker is, from what I understand, he's been doing just fine. Nothing made. He's a kicker. From 40,
All about
40
rhythm. I
yeah,
mean, with kickers, it's
49,
rhythm all
yeah,
day.
49 and less. He's been pretty good. He just came up short in the biggest game of the Niners season 2 weeks ago. Um, but other than that, he's made all his extra points and attempts except for that one in overtime, which would have won us the game over the Seahawks. But other than that, he looks fine. I think he had the butterflies against Arizona. He kept going out to the field during TV timeouts to check the wind and check his angles, and so I think he got into his own head a little bit there. But I think he should be fine.
Now,
Robbie Gould,
Javi, I
Hawks
want to
fan,
jump
so
in and ask you a question about that because when I was watching that game, I right away thought to myself, shame on you, Kyle Shanahan. Shame on you when you had that last play of not running something to get that young kicker who 3 days before was sitting on a couch in the biggest moment of his career, in the pressure of that, and not put him on the right hash. A right-footed
yeah,
kicker being put in that situation on the left hash, it's like a coach like that to me. I felt like that was more blown on Shanahan's part by not, getting him set up in the best opportunity again. Like, look, I understand kickers are supposed to make kicks, but I
yeah,
think it's when you have to put everything into context of the situation, where the person's come from, the moment, all that stuff. And sometimes you just need to do the extra little stupid stuff. And I felt like I kind of blamed it more on him than anything because you could tell right away when he went to kick it, just the angle of his foot, he was trying to push it back to the right because he was so far to the left, and his motion naturally pulls it from right to left, like most right-footed kickers. That's why they want to be on the right hash. Because then they
yeah,
can, because if it goes outside, usually that motion will bend it back in left and make it go right inside that right upright. And so he was in an awkward position, and I don't know. How do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, to shoot Kyle Shanahan some bail there. The play before the kick should have been a first down. Mostert cleared the
Yeah,
first down marker.
that was. I
So
remember
had
watching
they
that.
spotted the ball correctly, we would have never been in that position to begin with. So that's just the run play took him back to that left hash instead of the right hash. So if you watch the play over again, Mostert gets stopped up in the backfield just a little bit, just enough to push him back left, and he crosses the first down marker, but they don't give him the call. So there's a whole bunch of questions about that game that I had. Like in this I think it was the second possession the Niners had. They throw three times, but when you really break down the film, you look at the all 22. These guys are wide open and they drop these passes. So it's at this it's all 20 hindsight after the
Well,
fact. It's
since
all
you brought it up, this gets put on us, and we get added quite frequently anymore.
uh huh.
What's your opinion of the referees from your standpoint of a 49ers fan?
The refs this year, I'm
Just no, in general. Just in general, because I know damn well you can think of for the last 3 years this has been a very common theme. So I mean, just in general, do you feel like there's certain players, certain teams, or are you with like I am and Dave is, where I'm just sick of hearing it because they just suck? For
yeah,
everybody.
I don't know. I don't know that they suck. I think they've gotten. There was a crazy stat I read the other day. I think they get like 96% of the calls right, but it's that 4% that can swing the game. You know, like the Niners play on Monday night where they don't get the first down, or we saw it this past weekend. DeAndre Hopkins gets mugged in the end zone. They don't call him
Gee,
defensive
not
pass
mugged.
interference.
He got taken to his house and
Yeah,
kicked in the front door.
you know what I
That
mean.
was
And then
bad.
and then this past weekend you had two defensive pass interference calls on Richard Sherman. One was ticky tacky. The other one I understood fine, okay. But some of these calls, man, like the hands to the face that the Detroit Lions game, that was
Yeah,
bad. The holding call the Niners had this last weekend was pretty bad. Took away a touchdown for Dwelly. That would have been his third of the game. I
there's no
think
consistency.
yeah, that's the issue. That's the right word. There's no consistency in the NFL on these calls. It's I mean, some of the worst calls though. You know, the Steelers game against the Patriots a couple of years ago. That was god awful. Like the tight end clears the line, the line to gain or the goal line. Excuse me. That's a touchdown. And they take it away. You know, it's there's too much money involved too. You know, Clete Blakeman has 100% under rate. It's when you look at the over unders on for betting lines, he has
Hmm.
100% under rate in his games that are called. So there's something fishy going on there. From what I understand, from what I've heard from a couple people, he's supposed to be getting investigated
Yep,
for some
he's
gambling
calling our
issues.
game Sunday night.
So it's like shit. And I looked it up. I was like,
Yeah,
okay, here we go. So the under for this game is what, 48? So bet the under, everybody. So it's just one of those things. It's consistency is the word. It lacks consistency and no accountability because Alvin Riveron, he'll send out a stupid tweet or a letter on Monday saying, "Oh, we got it wrong. Sorry." That's
Yeah,
not.
one call. That's what kills me. It's like, well, there was more than one call in every
Yeah,
game that you need to account for. Like,
yeah.
that's the issue.
every fan can go point out 5 holding penalties on the offensive line or
A
on the
game.
opposing offensive line a game, and it's blatant.
Yeah.
But like you said, the Richard Sherman ticky tack pass interference call, like, come on, and let them play that out. But the thing is, they want to call an offensive lineman for holding when he barely hooked someone. But then the
hmm
next play, you'll see the same guy literally bear hug the defensive tackle, and then they're like, nope, you're clean.
It's no
Um,
consistency, man. Just no consistency. It's frustrating.
I found something out that really pissed me off. This current CBA deal, and I can't believe I even read this. They have part-time referees,
Yeah.
meaning if one goes out, they can just pluck one from another college conference and throw them into a whole new crew that's never worked with these guys. No, it's not the way it's supposed to work.
It's
That's
frustrating.
literally replacement ref, what we had in 2012 with the Fail Mary.
Yeah.
It's literally that. You're putting in a replacement ref that has no experience in the NFL whatsoever. They always pull them from college games. They don't call up another NFL crew and say, hey, you're off this week. Can you come in? Like, wouldn't
Yeah.
that make the most sense?
You would think it'd make the most sense, but you and I were in the military
Good
together. Things that
Lord.
make sense usually don't happen. So you know how that goes.
An officer doing a layout on a tricon, and we're laying or sitting there for the tricon for 5 hours.
Yep.
Where's the captain? He call this layout?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're about to call final formation. Oh, what the fuck? God damn it, sir. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, Jay. Just had to reference that a little bit.
Hey,
Oh,
I
man.
grew up in the real world and nothing ever worked right for me. Ever.
You expect the worst in the military. Like after being in for about a year, you expect that. Like you're like, okay, what shit show's gonna happen today?
Yep.
Like this is the normalcy. But yeah,
Everything's
man, the
hurry up and
refs.
wait. So yeah.
Yeah, and that's what we're doing as fans. We're hurry up and waiting for the NFL to fix the refereeing.
Yeah.
That's just no consistency on that. Jake, great question, man. Also, too, about the pass rush with Zadarius Smith and Kenny Clark in the middle
Uh-huh.
and Preston Smith on the outside. We've known Jimmy Garoppolo this year to have a turnover problem.
hmm
Seems like when he gets a little bit of pressure, he starts kind of getting And I'm not saying he's this type of quarterback, but just the way, you know how when Jay Cutler ever got pressure on him, he seemed to just make a rush throw, or he gets that tippy tappy dance in the pocket. It's like Garoppolo does that sometimes when he gets pressure on him and he tries to force that rush throw, and because he knows someone's coming at him, rather than taking the sack and then just going to the next play. It seems like he does that. I mean, 10 interceptions and what was it, 4 or 5 fumbles, I think it was.
Yeah.
That's the thing. With the pass rush coming.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but
No, you're good.
no, I mean, so Jimmy's efficiency rating with a muddy pocket is third highest. So he's right behind Russell Wilson and Matt Ryan. Yeah, so he's right there. So I get what you're saying. The thing with Jimmy, though, it's like we know he sees the field well because he's very accurate.
Yeah.
But we also know when he sees the field well, or we also know that he'll make a dumb throw. So like last week against the Arizona Cardinals, where the hell is he looking? He throws it right to Jordan Hicks. Like Jimmy has these issues of just throwing the ball to the other team with no pressure, and that's the frustrating part as a Niner fan. I've heard the comparison. He's Tony Romo. He's Brett Favre. He's this gunslinger. He's going to throw picks, but he will make up for it, and he has made up for it because if you look at his numbers after a pick, just like this past weekend against the Cardinals, he went. I want to say it was 13 or 14
his memory, and he goes back to what he does.
Yeah, he went 13 or 14 for 120, 2 touchdowns. Boom, game over. Like it's like the picks never happened, but they did happen. And I've been saying it on my podcast the last couple of weeks. You can't make these mistakes when you play better teams. Arizona will always play hard enough to lose, and that's what they've been doing all season.
The fumble on the last drive just killed me. Like they came back all that way to try and fight, and then I'm like, yeah. So that's it, huh?
And with Jimmy, pressure. I think that applies to every quarterback. Except for guys like Aaron Rodgers, who just it's Aaron Rodgers.
Well,
like
he's the anomaly, though. That's. Like Jay and I just discussed this. The pass. I mean, interrupt you, but I got to add this. That Kansas City Chiefs pass, where he's getting, which one I'm talking about?
Went to the back of the end zone,
and then he just does this, like that little flick you were talking about.
Yeah,
and it just lands perfectly in a little bucket drop to Jamal Williams. Like he's an anomaly to the quarterback position.
That was the one in the back of the corner of the end zone, right? Where he's like, "Oh, I saw somebody behind the wide receiver," and I'm thinking to myself, "Bullshit, Aaron. You didn't see anybody back there," but he did it. But
go back and look. He's looking straight at it.
Oh my God, Aaron Rodgers, man! But
he's an anomaly, so you can't compare someone like when they say, "Oh, Aaron Rodgers has a little." That comment infuriates Jay and I like no other, Javi. When people say, "Oh yeah, it's got a little Patrick Mahomes in him," I'm like, "Excuse me, Patrick literally models his play after Aaron Rodgers, and people want to crown this kid." I respect Patrick Mahomes for what he did. He's already got a league MVP. The kid can sling the rock. I have no problem admitting that. But just to sit there and push off these other QBs who have done it for years and decades, I mean, you got to think. Brady, Breeze, Rodgers, Eli Manning all outlasted the whole Andrew Luck and RG3 wave of QBs. The only one standing is Russell Wilson. I mean, you look, Brock Osweiler came in, done. There's just a whole wave of QBs that have come in, and
they don't last.
The older guys are standing. So that's my thing is Rodgers is an anomaly to a QB situation. He's the one exception when you say, well, that can't throw be made, and you're like, never mind.
There was, if I can add real quick, there is a throw. I'm sure you remember.
Ramble on that.
There was a throw that I'm pretty sure both of you guys remember, the Dallas Cowboy game. I think it was a playoff game.
The one that runs sideline to Jared Cook.
Oh my God!
We know
that's
Michael Jackson tap toe.
Yeah,
that's not even the most impressive one in a playoff game. The week before that, he's 12 seconds. He makes 4 guys miss inside a phone booth. He goes to his right, falls back to his left. Gets pulled backwards and looks it on a dart between 3 defenders and sticks it into the frickin' at the end of the first half to put him up 21-7 or 21-0 or whatever it was. But it was just like, and people are like, "Oh yeah, Patrick Mahomes, the no-look pass." Like, no. No, and like the defenders are like, "I was pulling you to the ground.
Yeah.
How did you do?" And I try to tell people, it's like, I'm hard on quarterbacks.